So, here's my thing about video games and the women as they are portrayed in video games. In my humble opinion, I don't care because they don't actually exist. So, why the hell are you getting so butthurt over the idea of, like, oh, this character's too sexy, this character's too attractive, oh, this character... The person who made this game doesn't even know what a woman looks like. Meanwhile, the character designer and his wife, the woman who designed the character, is very attractive. And honestly, to me, it's just, once again, more...
the character was actually modeled after a real person.
Yes!
Surprise, surprise.
So, here's my thing about it. Anyone who is so uncomfortable with themselves that they have to project it onto fictional characters to try and make everyone else feel bad about them, that's pathetic. Look,
it's literally people with so much self-consciousness that they're just fucking jealous of fictional characters.
yeah, and here's the thing. I see all of these, like, big ads for dudes and, like, at Abercrombie and Fitch with abs and, like the muscle lines and, like, just, like, definition and all this perfectly tanned, perfectly chiseled good looks, blue eyes, and, like, perfectly coiffed hair. You don't hear me complaining about it because of my own insecurities, because here's the thing. I don't care. I don't care if someone looks better than me. I don't care that they're getting paid just to look good. I don't care that it's clothes that I can't wear because I'm too big. I don't fucking care. Jesus Christ. All these people just keep coming out of the woodwork and trying to project themselves onto stuff that isn't even real. And they keep trying to pretend like, oh, this offends me because it doesn't cater to exactly what I want out of everything. Oh my God in heaven. Look at yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and actually ask yourself the question, do I matter that much? Do I matter that much to where everyone else has to cater to exactly what I want? No, you don't! Jesus. Oh, God. Every time, dude. It's every time. Like, everyone wants to feel special. Everyone wants to feel like they matter. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that you don't matter. You do matter. Alright? You do matter. But you don't have to be the standard to which everyone else has to aspire to be. And guess what?
Like, you matter, but you're not the main character.
Exactly. You're the main character in your own story, but you're not the main character to us. So we do not have to give a fuck about you. And that's always been my issue with all of these asshats coming out of the woodwork and pretending like what they're writing and what they're saying actually means something. It's just like, I'm going to destroy the paradigm that exists currently when it comes to sexy characters. This character is too sexy. This character's unrealistic. This character couldn't possibly even exist. Guess what? The person that the character's based off of does exist. The person who created the said character is a woman, and not only that, but she is the wife of the director of the game. And then, not only that, but then people are just like, oh, like, look at friggin', what's her name, Uzaki. Look at Uzaki-chan. I can't believe people out there actually think that a woman with Uzaki-chan's proportions exists. Kaho Shibuya, anybody? One of the most famous streamers in the world? Are you serious? Christ almighty. Everyone just is so far up their own ass with, like, trying to be, like redefine what the paradigm of like, what entertainment needs to be. Like, I'm speaking out for the people who can't speak for themselves. Oh, they can speak for themselves. It's just, most of the time, like, here's the thing. Opinions are like assholes. Alright? Go with me on this. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, and majority of the time, it's full of shit. There you go. So yeah, You can take what I say to heart, or don't. I don't care. I'm here saying it because I have a mouth, and I have a free-thinking, critical-thinking brain that can actually see and read between the lines. Instead of taking everything at face value like everyone else does out there. It's like, oh, this offends me. I need to say something about it. It's like, does it offend you? Are you sure about that? Are you sure it isn't, like you're just, like, projecting that it's offensive? Just so you can have something to bitch about? Anyway, enough of my ranting and raving. The Act Man has a video here asking, are video game characters too sexy? I don't know. What do you got to say, Act Man?
Do you like hot men? Yes. Do you like attractive women with big hands?
Personality?
What's up, everybody? This is the Sexy Man here, and today I'm bringing you my top 10 list of video game characters that I jerk off to. Number 10.
Good on you.
Urgot. Number 9.
What the hell?
Uncle.
Lumbago.
Lately, there's been a lot of buzz surrounding the upcoming game Stellar Blade and its protagonist Eve. Many gamers are celebrating her provocative design, the exotic outfit she wears, and as a red-blooded
Thank you,
male,
Ray.
I can appreciate this as well. Now, I played the demo, it was pretty fun, and I think Stellar Blade is shaping up to be a stellar game. On the flip side, some folk claim this type of character design is harmful because it objectifies women and displays unrealistic body standards and proportions. Now, we could ignore the fact that Eve's design was based off of a real human being, and that's exactly what we're going to do, because complaining on the internet makes me feel better than ordering the salad. But on the real, there is something to say about body standards in media, sexualization in video games, and how it can affect us. It feels kind of dumb to say this, but there is an ongoing debate around how hot video game characters should be. If you make a character too sexy, then it's misogynistic. But if you don't make every female a supermodel with double D honkers, then your game's woke. How are you supposed to win? Well, today, that's what we're talking about.
You don't give a fuck what people say, and you make the game that you want to make. Regardless of what people say.
Which is pretty much what Stellar Blade is.
Exactly!
They're going to win.
Yes.
I, on the other hand, am already sick of hearing about Stellar Blade, and it doesn't really look like my kind of game, so I'm kind of mad that I'm going to have to buy it just to support the idea of not being a fucking asshole on the internet. Because, you know, when people decide to be a fucking asshole on the internet, I feel the need to do whatever I can to spite those people.
Yes. Yes. Relatable. Relatable statement is relatable.
Sex appeal in video games. When is it good? When is it bad? How do you tell the difference? Let's find out. Why are games marketed like Stellar Blade? Why are video games now filled with soft porn heroines with ridiculously large breasts?
What do you mean now?
Newsflash, asshole. They have been for quite some time. And also, your oversimplification of that is just point proven to me that you've never played that much. You haven't played that much video games.
I was still a wee lad when I went into Walmart and saw that there was like a game on the freaking thing. There used to be TVs up there with controllers, and you used to be able to play games. You can't do that nowadays, apparently, supposedly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, what is this? I was like, this dude has a badass large sword. Oh, and that lady's pretty much naked. Nice.
Yeah.
I like this game. It was Soul Calibur 2.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, there's also, let's go all the way back. Does anyone remember Chun-Li? How about the Final Fight series and the various characters in that are absolutely just all out there?
And fighting games aren't the only example. Like, anybody remember Lara Croft?
There you go.
Triangle boobs.
Oh, yes. And the supposed code that you could put in to make her naked, which, by the way, was actually a big fat joke.
Why? Because fellas like big titty bitches.
Master Miller, I love it. I love it. That is the perfect representation of just like the baseline of like, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Is it a crime for straight men to find women attractive? I mean, is it wrong?
Next article, write some real fucking news.
He's right.
Yep. I agree.
Herself. I mean, that's about it. For a long time, gaming was a male-dominated hobby, so naturally, developers made games that appealed to men. This was much more apparent in the olden days where publishers had to rely on the box art to grab your attention. This certainly grabs my attention. Hey, how's that new pinball game coming along? You know, Microsoft...
Huh? I forgot about Sudoku. Like, I never played it, but as a young man that went into, like, the video rental store, like, I remember staring at it for quite some time, debating on whether or not I was going to try to, like, convince my mom that I should be allowed to rent it.
I remember there was the Dead or Alive franchise and Rumble Roses. You remember Rumble Roses? Oh my god.
Yeah, Rumble Roses was one I only got to see in the Game Informer magazines, and I was always like...
You were just like, I wish to be inside of this game.
I was like, that's interesting. Let me take a closer look at that.
Exactly.
Out for the Xbox
I turned
by
on
May.
Yakuza last night, started playing, and then like
God.
I didn't even know it was in there, and I get down to like this weird like shady hideout guy, and like it's like, oh, you'd have to convince me you have enough money to be in here. Literally, that's what you do. And he's like, you're a crazy man. You just threw all that money all over. Okay, you can have him. And I go inside, and it's Rumble Roses. And
Hell
like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
Hell yeah.
I was like, okay.
Boss, it's looking great. But to be honest, pinball on console is a hard sell. It's kind of boring. So how can we spice it up?
Titties!
Like this? Throw some chicks with guns and swords on it. American Pinball Reborn.
It's rated E?
Rated E for everyone. This might come as a shock to some of you, so brace yourselves. Sex sells in every industry.
Yes.
I don't believe it!
The same rules that apply to Hollywood and movie stars apply to gaming. People like things that are attractive. They had goddesses.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. And everyone wants to just point the finger at men and just be like, men are so... I have met plenty of women who get well caught up in the thirst traps. Mm-hmm. And guess what? They will never admit to it. You know why?
No, I've met women that straight up will admit.
No, I have too. But a lot of them will not. Because they don't want... Because that's the thing. It's about... Once again, it's discomfort. They don't want people to see them as quote-unquote whores, which if you find someone attractive and you want to express it, feel free to express it. Like, don't be afraid. There's nothing wrong with it. Like me, I'm not afraid to admit, like, all these women here, I'm just like, yeah, all these women are attractive. And all four of them are wearing Halo 3 gear. And I find this awesome.
Just stand around and look pretty for the midnight release.
And also I wonder, it's like, how many of these women actually, like, are being paid to be here versus, like, I know they're all being paid to be here, but also I wonder if any of them have actually ever played a Halo game.
I don't know. If I had to guess based off of the way they're smiling, the one on the left, I would bet money that she's just paid to be here.
Yeah, probably.
The one that's second from the right.
Yeah.
She looks like she might play Halo.
Yeah.
But it might just be that she's better at faking a smile.
Well, no, and here's the thing. I'm not judging these women and saying, like, oh, they're not real gamers. Like, no, I just wonder about that.
It's just a guess based off a photograph. Guys.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. It's not like I'm saying they're horrible people for standing here. No, they're here doing what they're here of their own accord. For God's sakes. Everyone always wants to assume the worst.
Lisa Halo 3. Blizzard paid Megan Fox to promote Diablo 4, and that was the best thing that came out of Diablo 4.
Oh.
The developers of a game called Sin Episodes Emergence hired a porn star to cosplay as one of their characters.
This is true.
Nice.
Sex appeal is an easy way to get the attention of men, but that's nothing new to video games.
Yakuza just jams like their roster of like lady NPCs like with all like real like softcore porn stars. So, I mean,
including quite a few that are like actual hardcore porn stars.
I mean, that wasn't why I bought the game.
No, I mean,
but I have put 100 hours into it now that I bought it.
He bought it for the activities.
I bought it to beat people's asses.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then I got to see a lot of asses. That's pretty nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder what my hours are actually at now, because it was
well over 100. Watch it be over 200.
Nah, there's no way about it.
I'm joking. Like, just...
So I checked it more recently than that, but I'm just curious.
Yakuza.
Oh, I'm fucking on the wrong page. Yeah, fucking, I'll figure it out.
Okay, fair.
Debuted with her pyramid breasts, and it's not new with Eve and her ridiculous
Triangle titties.
ponytail. But what has changed is the industry. It's much more complex and diverse now. There are more female gamers than ever before, so how do we sell games to them? Maybe we could push out more dishwashing and cooking simulators? Perhaps we could sexualize women less, portray them in a more realistic, less idealized way.
No. No,
Oh,
man.
man.
Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
But I think a better solution.
Good use of like the Diedrich Bader clip from friggin' Office Space.
And I don't think that's gonna sell anything to the women. Like, you just show attractive people of all varieties.
That's
Like,
the
you
thing.
can sell to them based on the same way that you're selling it to just straight dudes. And
Well, that's like Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact doesn't only have attractive
straight
women,
ladies.
it has attractive men too. That women, like Imarichu especially, dear God, the amount of thirst that woman has expressed towards Genshin Impact.
Yeah, I won't call her out like by name in here, but one of my friends, like, I've heard her be like, like about like the dudes in there, you know.
Fair enough. And that's okay. It's okay. Jesus.
Is to
I
sexualize
mean, and I've seen
men
some of the dudes
more.
in Genshin Impact, and I'm like, man, I wish I looked like that. You know what I mean?
Nothing wrong with that.
Picture this, Ace Attorney 7 drops, and the second case takes place on a beach. This is nothing more than an excuse for
Cheesecake.
shirtless
I wish I
models
looked like
everywhere.
him, too.
Watch the
Yes.
fangirls go crazy.
Fucking love
Instant
Edgewood.
1 million copies sold within 24 hours. Capcom, you can send me the royalty checks. But seriously, if there is a major issue around objectifying women in video games, I say go ahead and objectify men too. It's not like we can change the fact that sex
There's
sells.
these like small groups of people that think that like it's something horrible that I'm sitting here right now being like, yeah, I wish I looked like him. Like, it's not that big of a deal, guys. Like,
No, it
yeah,
isn't.
it kind of gives me a little bit of like possible motivation to maybe eventually start working out pretty hard and stuff. But I'm pretty low energy because I have ADHD and anxiety and stomach problems, and it saps all my energy. So will I ever get to that point? I don't know, but at least it's in my head that maybe I'll better myself one day.
Maybe.
Like, it's not really hurting me mentally that I'm not like that. I just kind of, you know, it's a long-term goal potentially, maybe in the future.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get why people are just so mad. Like, it's like, oh, but I can't just like work out to make my boobs bigger. And it's like, there's
I can't work out to make my dick bigger either. What's your
yeah,
point?
exactly. Like, it's like there's worse things than having small boobs.
Yeah.
It's like if
Having breast cancer.
if having small boobs meant that you were unattractive, then I hate to tell you, but you probably wouldn't be here, because the reason you're here is because somebody kept banging people who had small boobs.
Not only that, but one of his like all-time his ATGs is Aubrey Plaza, and Aubrey Plaza, she doesn't have like the most like tremendous tatas, but she's very attractive.
She's still gorgeous.
Exactly. Same thing with Allison Pill. Same thing with like, dude. They're once again, everyone just wants to pretend like, oh, this is all what people want, and it's like you don't know what everyone wants. You can only look at what you think everyone wants, but you can't just say, oh, this is what everyone wants. You have to look at everything objectively and think of everyone as their own individual. I mean, sheesh.
Companies are going to use it to sell products. So why not level the playing field a bit? Hot, ripped, muscly men like me, which way to the beach, appeal to women just as much as they do to gay guys. League of Legends has just as many sexy dudes as it does chicks. I mean, just case in point. There's a tendency for websites such as Kotaku
People talk
to
about
post
unrealistic body proportions.
Look at that.
What the fuck, man?
I know, man.
I know like 3 people in the entire world that look even close to that, and they're still probably not quite that buff.
Oh,
It's like The Rock
Damn it.
and fucking Bjorn. What's his last name? The big lifter guy in the mountain.
Oh, Hafthor.
Hafthor. Yeah.
Hafthor Bjornsson.
Bjornsson, yeah.
Yes.
And, those two
And Eddie
guys.
Hall.
And everybody knows The Rock did steroids to get even close to that.
Yeah. I'll say this: Brian Shaw is like a mammoth too. He's like 6'8", 430 pounds. Like, but I was actually gonna make a joke. You were just like,
Even if I work out, my hands will never be that big. Like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna just magically happen. I'll end up with small hands and big
Yeah.
arms.
But you were actually saying I was actually gonna make a joke. You said, I mean, look at that, and I was gonna be like, I know that handlebar mustache is ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. It's unrealistic mustache proportions too, guys. I've been trying to do like the twirly mustache. Can't fucking grow that mustache.
No,
It's like
that's tremendous.
these
Look
games
at that.
need to knock it off, man. This is hurting my self-esteem.
Exactly.
Case in point, there's a tendency for websites such as Kotaku to post articles like Baldur's Gate 3 slyly adds jiggle physics for dicks balls. They will celebrate when men are sexualized, but not women. If you ask me, that's a little sexist, Kotaku. Lost
I know, right?
Oh wow,
Star's depiction of female
Kotaku's
characters
sexist.
feels a decade out of place.
Wow,
If you're
that's
fine
news to
with
me.
Yeah, and that's his point that he's making here is 100% right. It's like, if you're okay with like dick and balls like having physics to where they jiggle, but yet you're not but yet you're offended whenever tits have jiggle physics. It's like you do realize that they jiggle too, right? I mean, at least the real ones. I mean, yeah, exactly. Case in point.
with people thirsting over those shirtless Leon Kennedy mods, or the mods where Chris Redfield is just fucking naked for the
Oh Jesus
Dear
God! Imagine that.
It's so much more intimidating that way.
I know. Imagine
He's
that,
displaying his dominance. Good God.
and he's got a gun.
Yeah, no.
Actually, he's got 2 guns. Oh God.
He's got 1, 2, 3,
3,
4
4 guns.
actually.
Yeah. I didn't count the arms, but yeah, the whole deal with it is just like it. Imagine that just like busting into your room in the middle of the night. Like it's just like I'm taking you hostage and there's nothing you can do about it. I'll just be like, okay. Be gentle. Don't hurt me, please.
entirety
Uh-oh.
village, then you should also be fine with people thirsting over Lady Dimitrescu. Now to
Yes.
clarify, there is a big difference between
Markiplier thirsted over Lady Dimitrescu. Nobody said a fucking thing then. Oh, but then the very moment it's just like, oh, like it's like, oh, Lady Dimitrescu, you know, like she sets so many like unhealthy standards of curvaceous women. I'm like, she's a fictional fucking character. She doesn't exist.
And she's a bioweapon.
Yes.
Like she's
And she's a
literally been
fucking vampire.
physically altered.
Yes. She's a literal gigantic fucking vampire.
Well, as far as vampires could exist in Resident Evil world.
Yes, but she's... Well,
That's why I say she's a bioweapon.
she's...
She's a vampire-esque bioweapon.
Yes.
what a developer makes and what their audience makes of it. Just ask Jeff Kaplan. But if we held developers responsible for the actions and words of their community, well, the Call of Duty devs would be on trial for crimes against humanity.
Yes,
so
they
this
would.
doesn't apply to like multiplayer voice chat stuff. But what, if anything, is wrong with Stellar Blade in particular? Let's check out some articles and see if we can find the answer.
I just thought of something stupid because I was thinking about Lady Dimitrescu.
What's
Can't
that?
believe it took me this long to think of it. I didn't think of it back when everybody was thirsting over it, but I was like, she's a BOW.
Oh,
A
God.
big, oglable woman.
Big, ugly woman. All of a sudden, you just hear Tormund. He's like, where's the big woman?
Answer. IGN France posted a review of the demo saying mostly positive things about it. However, there was one paragraph people really took issue with. The design of the game, particularly its characters, highlights an obvious bias, and the result is not really a success. It's not new, and other games have chosen to highlight the strengths of their female characters. But where a Bayonetta stands out with an iconic character design, or a 2B inspires an entire generation of cosplayers, Eve from Stellar Blade is just bland. A doll sexualized by someone you would think has never seen a woman.
Is that a woman? Jesus.
I don't
There's
think
a lot of
Eve
problems
looks
with
bland. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
This. First off, Eve isn't even sexualized within the context of the game or the events of the demo. Like, she doesn't flirt with anyone. She's not pushing her tits together, leaning over, asking for a ride.
She doesn't
never
have
says,
cleavage. Like, her outfit doesn't have cleavage. Like, her only skin she's showing is her face, neck, and her arms. Like, and they're like, but she's overly sexualized.
Once again, this just people getting offended and just like acting like it's
because they put a fucking skin suit in the game to where you can like remove all the armor, and then the armor that is left over is skin colored.
yes.
like, who wants to have sex with me? It's not even a factor at all. Like, bro, if you want to complain about hypersexualized characters, go play Soul Calibur, okay? Hop into the character creator and you can make your tits super huge. Also, the demo is like an hour long with about 15 minutes of cutscenes. That's not enough time to give like a detailed character assessment or review. So a lot of people are complaining about Stellar Blade at the moment based on assumptions, what they think the game is going to be like when it actually comes out. Comparing Eve to Bayonetta and 2B isn't fair at all, because those are characters that have been around for a long time. And they appear in games that are completed and have been released to the public. Let's try another article though. Developer of Stellar Blade fails to recognize the game's sexism. This was posted before the demo came out. So just based on the 6-minute showcase, there is something striking when you look closely at the images of this aesthetically successful action game. The heroine is ultra sexy. In less than 6 minutes, we see her wearing outfits, each more improbable than the last. The message is clear. The shorter, the more skin visible, the better. Now, I'm not sure what trailer you watched, but there's like maybe 9 seconds of footage where Eve's thighs are partially exposed, but besides that, it's just her arms. Like, where is this explicit, overt sexualization that I seem to be missing? Is every woman in tights supposed to be a sex object? However, we are talking about a character responsible for getting rid of an enemy threat in a post-apocalyptic context. So the old "her outfit isn't practical or realistic" argument sometimes has merit, but I don't think it does with Stellar Blade or Bayonetta.
Well, Quiet, the reason why she was dressed the way she was is because her skin literally was just like made it impossible for her to wear clothes practically. And honestly, it's Kojima. What do you expect?
Neither game is going for a realistic setting. Like, if Call of Duty had established itself as a grounded military shooter and then got rid of military factions and threw Nicki Minaj in as a playable character...
It's a good thing I don't care about that game anymore.
And everyone wonders why Call of Duty 3 sold like shit.
Well, that would be pretty fucking cringe, wouldn't it? Bayonetta is a witch and Eve is an ODST that stole Tracer's spandex. As long as they don't look stupid and they fit within the universe, I don't see either as a problem. Leggings so close to the body that it feels like a second skin. This guy has more problems with the tights industry than he does with the game. That's what leggings are. She has a nice bod and plenty of outfits to customize. Gamers like customizing and playing dress up. Bayonetta is arguably more sexualized, but she's considered a paragon of female
he just
representation.
worded that makes me realize. Never thought about it that way.
What?
Gamers all like playing dress up.
They do. I like to accessorize.
And strong female characters. So again, what is the
I wouldn't say
actual
all
problem?
gamers
The
like it,
character
but
is simply
a lot
too
of them
sexy.
do.
Yes, a lot of them.
Man, that's the issue. It's difficult not to see a sexualization of women, a practice which tended to disappear in the latest video game productions. Did you forget what won Game of the Year?
Exactly! Jesus Christ. all these people are pretending like, yeah, the battle, like, we won the battle, and women are not sexualized in games anymore. Are you serious? You didn't win shit. You are literally fighting the same battles, by the way, which, if you consider this a battle, it's pathetic. You're pathetic, and you should consider yourself pathetic. But, oh my god.
By the way, you want to talk about really sexualized?
Oh boy.
My character in Baldur's Gate 3 has a visible unit that Minthara put in her mouth while she was completely naked.
Mm-hmm.
You could see everything.
Uh-huh.
It was porn.
Yes.
Like, I was actually blown away. I was like, wait, this is straight up porn, like, in this video game.
There you go.
Like, but who cares, man? It's a game for adults. Like,
Yes. It's rated M for mature. And here's the thing. For every Karen out there who's just like, I am appalled of the sex scenes in Baldur's Gate 3. I bought this game for my 14-year-old son, and he was able to have sex in the game. Why are you buying an M-rated game that has, like, strong sexual
literally,
content?
it will say nudity and strong sexual content.
Yes. Why would you buy that for your son? It's not the fault of the developer. It's the fault of you, the parent.
It is a parenting fail.
Yes!
It's not an art industry fail.
Exactly.
In
If
2023,
you take your
What
kid
I like
to
the
a
most-
freaking art exhibit that's all nude drawings and then you get mad.
Is that every companion is so extremely fuckable? I wanna fuck all of them. I do not only wanna fuck all of them, I wanna be with them forever, for the rest of my life.
however, this choice is 100% assumed by the developer with arguments that are beyond belief. The direct
Oh, wait. Hold on. The cliche of Asian fantasy. The developer's Japanese. Or are they Korean? Korean. Sorry, my mistake. Korean.
percent assumed by the developer with arguments that are beyond belief. The director of Stellar Blade attempted to justify the project's irredeemably sexy argument. In terms of design, we focused on the back of the character because players are always facing her when playing. That's what they see the most, so it's very important. We didn't know that a character's charisma is first measured by the perfection of their posterior. Jesus Christ, man, go touch grass. When I play a game, I want to see someone who is prettier than me. I don't want to see someone normal. I want to see an ideal. I think it's important for entertainment, and after all, it is entertainment aimed at an adult audience.
What you say is heresy.
These are the unbelievable arguments. I wanted my video game protagonist to look good. How could you say something so brave yet so controversial? Like, this is sexist now?
I've said that for
Well,
fucking years. I'm like, people are like, why do you play girls in video games? It's like, because if I'm gonna have to stare at somebody's backside for like an untold number of hours and I have a choice, I'm probably gonna
It'd be a
go with
woman.
the one that's nice to stare at.
Exactly.
Shit. I don't want to be sexist and play this, so from now on, I'm only playing games with ugly protagonists. Like, they just made a hot protagonist and gave her a bunch of outfits. That's it. And for some, that's the issue. The unrealistic body standards that are detrimental to women who consume this sort of media. And we'll get into that later on, but I want to look at some good and bad examples of sex appeal in video games. You see, it's not whether you sexualize
Sorry, Act Man, you playing down by the river. I'm distracted, man.
characters in a video game, it's how you do it. Games like Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk, Dragon Age Origins, KOTOR, and Mass Effect offer a diverse cast of male and female companions to simp for, and they all feel like real people. Their personality is not solely defined by how sexy they are. You can fuck bears in Baldur's Gate 3 and
Yes, you can. He fucked the bear.
Which is still kind of weird.
I know.
you can fuck aliens in Mass Effect. There's also options for same-sex romance, and you don't see too many people complaining about that. If you're gay or a little bi-curious or just want to see how those romances can play out, those options exist.
Yes.
They add diversity to a game in RPG in a very good way. You know, this old reliable clip is actually relevant to the discussion for once.
I wrote a blog post a while ago about why I f***ing hate video games.
It's like, oh my god, stop the fucking presses. She wrote a blog post.
By the way, you know why this turned into a meme? Because it's fucking goofy when people say shit like this.
Yes. Also, not only that, but what she's playing is a modded version of Grand Theft Auto 4 or Grand Theft Auto 5 that has been purpose-built to basically make strippers spawn in front of you and dance in front of you. She was given this as a T-ball. Like, she's like, they sat the ball on a T-ball thing for her to literally like swing at endlessly until she hit. That's literally what she was given.
I didn't even know the context.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I saw this whole video, and it was so bad that the people who made it deleted it off the face of the earth. But the internet never forgets. And guess what? Someone saved it, and they made this into a meme. And all well for it, because this deserves to be a meme. This whole video deserves to be derided and ridiculed until the end of time, because it shows how journalists basically just stack the deck to make it to where, oh, we don't give a fuck about the truth. The truth can be adjusted.
Which basically makes this entire video that Ackman's doing really easy to sum up into like one meme, because it's pretty much games journalism.
Yeah, exactly.
It was trash however many years ago when this came out.
And it's
still trash.
Yep.
And they don't have any intention of fixing it by the looks of things.
Nope.
This is what it does. It appeals to like the male fantasy.
Wait, this isn't the right video. Yeah, hold on, I gotta switch to... You know what? Fuck it, keep it rolling.
That
Always,
that is a male fantasy.
That's the that's the thing. I always fucking love the memes. Like I haven't seen this one. Like all the spin-offs that came from that meme.
Yeah.
Like all of the things that they show that you can do in video games that have like nothing to do with like attractive women.
My favorite is the one where they show like some like supremely like gay stuff. Like it was I forget what game it was, but it was basically like a sumo match, like naked sumo match with two like ripped muscly dudes, and the only thing that was covering their junk was steam, and they were basically just like grappling, and then one guy like reached around and like grabbed the other dude's ass, and the other guy went, "Oh!" and then it appeals to the ultimate male fantasy, and it just plays that clip. I was in the floor rolling the first time I saw that.
For me, there's two scenes I want to make. Like, if I'm sure one of them's already been made, but like, there's a new one I want to make too. But
oh yeah,
the first thing that comes to mind when it's like, this is why I hate video games. It appeals to the male fantasy. Is just Tom Nook. Like, it's like, hey, your loan's completely paid off now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the other one is I want to do a new one with just the Helldivers standing around in a group going.
Yeah, exactly. That meme's been around for a long time, but it's never too late to make new standards of it.
Oh my God, shirtless John Marston.
Shirtless bearded John
Red Dead 2 is
Marston.
the perfect game to illustrate the power of diversity and perhaps sex appeal, because RDR2 appeals to the male and female gaze. Just as you can customize the outfits for Eve, you can do the same with Arthur. There are compilations of women thirsting over Arthur, and all I gotta say is, back off, ladies, he's mine.
I also just weirdly really liked the, oh my God. Really? I'm so jealous of her. I'm so jealous.
Of course you are.
One of our wonderful assistant directors, Gethin Aldous, he says, Raj, we gotta do those horse lines again. I was like, why? And he said, well, it's a little too intimate. You know, it sounds like you're not talking to a horse. And I was like, what do you mean? And he played it back, and I was like, you're all right, girl.
Oh, Roger, never change, dude. Never change. You are a champ.
And if I can thirst over Sadie Adler like a parched baboon,
Sadie Adler.
Then hell yeah, I hope women who play RDR2 can simp for Arthur Morgan. Again, it comes down to both of these characters feeling like real complex people that you can just inherently find attractive. It's called personality. There's no mystery behind good writing. It boils down to the developer's intentions and goals with their characters and their game. If you want to make a graphic visual novel kind of game, probably don't call it Sex with Hitler. It might be a good start.
Oh, God.
And there are egregious and what I would consider bad examples
That's
of
a real thing.
sexualization.
Yes, it is. It's horrifying.
In video games. Isabella from Dragon Age 2 is just this smelly pirate hooker. Like, that's mostly her character. Now, I'm biased because I'd rather eat goat diarrhea than play Dragon Age 2. But
Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2 is definitely the weakest of the Dragon Age games. It was very haphazardly released.
even then, Isabella still has more going on. She's mostly a smelly pirate hooker, but my issues with her character have more to do with the romance system. It isn't just writing. Bad sexualization can be tied to the game mechanics. You want to romance this character? Just hit the icon with the heart on it. You'll be contracting gonorrhea in no time.
Yeah.
I don't mind the dialogue wheel on Mass Effect, but when it comes to gaining approval or influence with characters and romancing them in an RPG, I much prefer titles like KOTOR and Dragon Age Origins, because you have to figure out and pick the dialogue option that a character will respond to. You actually have to flirt and rizz them up. You know, maybe there was a Time Splitters Future Perfect joke that went a little too far.
You go first.
Okay.
Cortez, you dirty dog. Cortez.
I never got to play the actual story mode of that. That's fucking funny.
Yeah, Cortez, once again, dude. Cortez is just top notch.
The over-sexualization in that game is part parody and part fan service.
Exactly. Also, she's just like, I don't mind it.
Personally, I have always found Ivy Valentine's design to be hilarious and over the top.
Yes.
And that has been a topic of debate for a long time. But her design is also iconic. She has earned a place in gaming culture.
Her design is what you would call very cheeky.
It is
Some female characters are
I like that.
defined by their sex appeal, while others ride the line in between. Samus is hot.
Yes.
But she's also
She's
like
one of
a
my
real
waifus.
person, kind of. Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball takes
Oh,
sex appeal
dear
to an extreme
God.
level, and it's mostly a gimmick, but at the same time, the game was an impressive display of physics. On the other hand, you've
Yes.
got something like the new Fable trailer, which a lot of people reacted negatively to. They blasted the design of this female character, and, well, she does look pretty silly. I think people would have
Yeah.
reacted a lot better to this trailer if they had taken the angle of, our protagonist is the antithesis of your typical hero, and she's thrust into the role of being a hero. But the trailer doesn't try to tell you that story. This character is just kind of ugly for no real reason.
I mean, look, I am one to judge. I mean, you're looking at a hideous fucking chud of a human being right here. And here's what I will say. I don't care, like, if the character I don't really care how the character looks. Besides, in the Fable games, you can usually customize how your character looks. But at the same time, it's just like, I guarantee you the team, like, here's the thing. I guarantee you the person that made this is a person who wanted to make someone who was less attractive than them so they didn't feel intimidated. That's it. I guarantee you that's like the person who designed this character. Because that's the thing. It's what it always boils down to. It's just like, I don't like looking at people who I think are more attractive than me because I don't like having to I don't like feeling intimidated by that. It's like, look, there's plenty of things I feel intimidated about. I just look at it and just be like, there's bigger things in the world to be pissed off about or bigger things to worry about than being intimidated by a literal poster on the wall or a video game trailer. Like once again, your own insecurities are your worst enemy. Sounds like a you problem, not a developer problem.
I mean, when I see stuff like this, I don't really care.
I don't either.
Like, I really don't care that much when people get up in arms about, like, oh, they're just doing ugly chicks because it's woke or whatever.
I don't. Once again,
guys, I'm in the middle of things a lot of the times. I usually try
too.
to use my brain when I think about things.
I am too, because
if a character is less attractive, a character is less attractive. People
just
can
calling,
make their characters look like what they want them to look like.
And here's the thing, calling something woke doesn't lend any credence to your argument. If you don't have any argument to prove that it's woke in any way, other than the fact that you're saying that it's woke, guess what? It's not woke. You're just making a lazy argument.
But I need to see the context behind the fable.
Oh, yes.
Like,
yes,
for example,
absolutely.
I looked up the context of why people were saying that about Alan Wake 2, and they kind of have a point. But...
Well, yeah. But,
for starters, like, I was sad to find out that, is it Sam Lake?
Yeah.
As he let Sweet Baby Inc. get out on Alan Wake 2, apparently. So, yeah, there's some argument there.
Well, the fact that, once again, Sweet Baby Inc. is like persona non grata for me, especially after they treated Toriyama. Y'all can go fuck yourselves.
Like in Beautiful Joe, you play as a comic book movie nerd who gets sucked into the movie and has to become a hero, even though he's a fucking nerd. He's the antithesis. That could have worked for Fable, but they don't really tell that story in the trailer. So it comes across like it's made to appeal to the body positivity crowd, and a lot of gamers just don't care for that. I don't think we've seen really, really bad examples of sexualization in video games in a long time. Custer's Revenge is one of those notoriously...
Yeah, literally, General Custer, where you as General Custer do very, very bad things to, like, the native women. Not cool, by the way. Not cool.
Awful games, which... They hit the double whammy. They were racist and sexist, and they made the game that way deliberately to generate outrage and publicity. Some tactics never go out of style. Duke Nukem Forever is also an awful example because the game was terrible, wasn't worth the wait, and a lot of the jokes just weren't funny.
Power armor is for pussies.
Well, okay.
So it felt outdated. Recent worst example of sexualization, of course, goes to Right to Hell Retribution.
Oh my dear God. And this game, keep in mind, this game is old as hell by today's standards.
You kill a group of dudes and then immediately start banging a chick with all your clothes on. Women are quite literally an objective in Right to Hell. Man, that fucking game. But going back to the real issue, body positivity, unrealistic body standards in video games, and by extension all media. Multiple studies have shown that both women and men feel lower levels of self-esteem when consuming media where characters have that ideal body. Now, you don't really need a study to tell you this, because if you're a dude and you've ever watched 300 and thought, damn, I'm a fat ass, well then you're just like me.
Yeah, exactly. Gerard Butler, Michael Fassbender, all of the men in that movie are literally the idealistic monstrosity of masculinity that is, like, peak male performance. And you're gonna sit here and, like, I'm not gonna act like it's like, damn, wish I had that body. Especially that one scene where, like, the one he was just showing, and it's just, like, the perfect, like, spear hit, and it's just, like you see, like, the full tone and definition of, like, Gerard Butler's, like, arms and legs and abs. I was just like, Jesus Christ. If someone painted a pastel picture of that and hung it up on a wall in the middle of Sparta, that would be literally, like, what, like, the people in Sparta pray to for, like, Spartan valor. Like, no shit.
But you also probably don't think about what Gerard Butler went through to look that...
Jesus Christ, yeah. Well, Gerard Butler worked his ass off to look that good. He did. He worked his ass off. He literally... I think he said, like, the Spartan regiment was, like... In the beginning, it was two a-day sessions of working out. It was, like, arms and legs... and then abdominals. Like, I think it was like arms were one day, or were one workout, and legs and abdominals were another. And basically, he said it was like that for 6 weeks straight. And he said even before...
No rest days in between?
Not really, no.
Like, how do you have time for your muscles to reheal?
Oh, they actually had like cold chambers. You ever heard those?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically they had those for them to use after working out and everything, and they basically got to eat whatever they wanted, as long as it was within like the parameters of like the type of like nutrition they needed. Like they could eat as much meat as they wanted. They could eat as much like fish, as much like beef, chicken, pork, whatever, and basically like it. Like 6 weeks later, and here's the thing: Gerard Butler also did a lot of cardio beforehand because he knew that there would be a lot of like action scenes where he would need to be running with a heavy shield and a big ass like heavy helmet and everything. So he did like cardio training before he did it, and then when they did the Spartan training thing, he was like, Jesus wept.
That good. In the same way, you probably don't think about how much time game developers spend on creating attractive characters, how much concept art and designs they have to create.
Yeah.
But the problem with feeling insecure about your body image is an issue that nobody can fix but you.
Exactly.
Feeling like your body type is being represented in media is a surface level solution that ignores the real issue. I think a lot of people who write these articles essentially complaining that characters are too sexy, I think that comes from a place of insecurity or just a grift. Every woman on the planet has struggled with her self-image, and to all the ladies watching this right now, you look great without makeup. And every man has struggled with his own physique and confidence. It's pretty funny.
And there are days I stare at myself in the mirror and I'm just like looking at myself and just like, and I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you fat piece of shit.
There was this tweet: Microsoft urges developers not to create female characters with exaggerated body proportions.
God
and I
damn.
replied,
I know, right?
The real lady is even hotter than the game character.
I know. That is
God
ridiculous.
damn, she's hot.
developers not to create female characters with exaggerated body proportions. And I replied, yes, of course. We wouldn't want any exaggerated body proportions on male characters. It might make us men feel insecure. And if you look at the replies, well, first off, this is the guy who was the art director for Gears of War. Also, I recently reviewed the first Gears of War. You shouldn't watch that video at all. That's how reverse psychology works, right? Okay, sweet. But a lot of people in the replies were like, I aspire to be Marcus Phoenix. I live 7 days a week trying to look like Marcus Phoenix. I must go to the gym more. I'm feeling a strange and sudden urge to hit the
motivation.
gym.
Exactly.
Gears
Dude,
of
like,
War aren't.
I mean, even with non-regards to working out, right? So I saw, like, I've just discovered this. I guess he's a TikToker, but I don't use TikTok, so I'm watching this shit on YouTube. You know, that's probably like 3 weeks after he put it out.
Mm-hmm.
But Danny Phantom EXE, I saw this dude, and I'm just like, I should really do something with my hair, because he has a picture of like what he used to look like when he didn't do anything with his hair, and the transformation of just him having like a actual like thought about style to his hair is just like, god dang, man. Like, I wish I could look like that.
Well, I mean, what do you expect, Nick? He's I
never watched that show, but I'm assuming that's a reference to the show.
Damn it, come on.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of people out there who, as soon as I finish that, are just going to go, he's a vent.
But I also saw this dude in another clip yesterday, like, fucking ripped motherfucker, and he did push-ups while basically planking straight out without his feet touching the ground.
Jesus.
And then, like, transition to, like, handstand push-ups, and I'm just like, how? How do I start? How do I even start? I want to get there. How do I start?
One cannot move a boulder.
Like, you have to start somewhere, but, like, what is the process?
Okay.
Like, what do I start with?
Here's the saying that I heard, that whenever Hafthor, like, Bjornsson started lifting weights, he heard this old monk who was just like a master of like Tai Chi and had been a master for like 50 years. And, you know, like, where do you find the discipline to do that? And then basically the monk said, one cannot move a boulder without first moving a pebble. And basically start small and work your way up. Now, that may sound stereotypical, but it is the truth. And basically, like Hathor basically just said, like, from then on, it was just like every day I made a point to like take 15 minutes out of my day to do something active, where I do push-ups, I do sit-ups, or I go and I grab weights and I do curls for 15 minutes. Just something to activate myself and to basically make my body like start on something. And he said after doing that for about a year, he found himself wanting to do that. He found himself like desiring that burn, that sensation of just like body activation and just like making yourself want to do more. And then that's when he got into powerlifting and took over the world.
Realistic. But
Brian
the
Shaw
women
was the
are.
same way.
Dude, her tits are way too big. That is clearly like a C cup or bigger. Looks like it was made by like a horny 15-year-old, and we're trying to be a little bit more mature than that.
And this goes back to the, do they have
Thank you,
realistic
Cliff Bleszinski.
outfits or not? And I think Cliff is right. If this lady had huge knockers, it would just kind of distract from the war, you know? But seeing ideal beauty or attractiveness in media or video games, if it makes you feel insecure, you should use those feelings of insecurity to better yourself. Go on a walk, eat healthier food. Ideally, that's what people would do, but that's not always the case. If you're trying to condemn or criticize a piece of media because the characters are sexy and that made you feel bad about yourself, then that sounds like a you problem. I hope you work on that. Lord, grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. None of us can change that sex sells. It's a marketing tool. You can't get rid of it in media or business. So the best thing to do is become the best version of yourself. In my experience, actual sexism in video games happens in voice chat or mostly at the studios. And I think focusing too much on whether this character is too hot or not distracts from the conversations people should be having about how women are treated in the workplace and in the game industry. What's really obnoxious is when people try to Photoshop official character art to be more or less sexy to prove some kind of point? Is it just me, or is this shit kind of weird? Like, hey, the marketing for GTA 5 would have been much better if the chick with the cell phone was fatter. What? Why did you do this to Cortana? What? She's a fucking man-made AI.
Exactly. She's not real. As a matter of fact, look at this character. And
Photoshop official character art to be more or less sexy to prove some kind of point? Is it just...
She's not real. She's not real. She's not real. Ain't that something? Look at this. Yeah, you made changes to fictional characters that are not real. Wow.
That was the way they would have looked if you were the character for that game and you did the art for it. So.
Wow. You're really like...
Hey, you know what you could do instead of like changing other people's art on the internet? You could put together a portfolio and you could try to get a job designing characters and then you could make them look like you want them to look.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's... I know, right? So here's the thing about it. I know that there's... Okay... People are going to think that I'm attacking a community. I'm not attacking anybody. All I'm saying is this: be realistic. I remember saying this, like, there were people who I used to hang out with, and I remember there was I think it was the Uncharted franchise, and they were talking about, like, some scenes where, you know, they were just like, it was like, for God's sakes, make it gay, you cowards! I heard that, and I literally was just, I literally had to stop myself from just being like, how about you make your own fucking game, you entitled little shit?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's the thing. You have no right to determine what video game developers do or say or anything. You have no right to determine any of that. They're the ones developing the games. You either play it or you don't. Like, that's the point. Like, if you find something engaging, but yet it doesn't, like, completely cater to every little thing that you want, and all of a sudden you hate it because it doesn't cater to... That's just like the fucking... That's like the friggin', like... Oh, the Bumblebee fans. The Bumblebee fans from Ruby who wouldn't shut the fuck up about fucking Blake and yang and just like forcing the issue instead of letting it develop naturally. Oh no, we gotta force them into being in the relationship we want them to be in. Fuck the story. Fuck everything. We want Bumblebee, goddammit. Jesus Christ. Toxic fan bases everywhere, and nobody is willing to talk about it.
Well, it's also the equivalent of, like, the people who I have long, like, this is toxicity.
Yes.
Being like this about other people's art is toxic.
Yes.
And you're being a piece of shit when you act like this.
Yes.
Because it's the equivalent of the people who listen to music that someone else likes and then tell them that their music taste is shit. It's bad. It is not good. That's your fucking opinion, man. It's not your thing. She's not your thing. She is, okay. But that's your opinion. That doesn't make it bad because it's made a different way than what you prefer. Guys, more people need to fucking realize that things are not bad because it's not your thing.
Yeah.
Like, and this is literally the equivalent of that. This is literally just people being like, this is bad because of my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's like, nobody cares about your opinion except for you. So why don't you just go make things that appeal to you or consume things that appeal to you and shut the fuck up and let everybody else have fun with what appeals to them.
Tell you what, you find your crowd that agrees with your opinion and you all discuss the things that you would do to be different and make your own thing.
You could all get together and start a fucking thing and make your own art that you all like.
Exactly. And guess what? I won't fault you for that. It may not be artwork that I 100% agree with or artwork that I'm 100% on board with, but guess what? It will be yours. It'll be something that you created.
And the fact that everyone is trying to take that away from artists, like, no respect for original artists, like,
nope.
This kind of stuff at all. It's like, it's really fucking annoying.
Nary a goddamn thing.
What? She's a fucking man-made AI. She's not a real person. Are some of these body types really that unrealistic? We live in a world of plastic surgery, for God's sake. Then there was Horizon Forbidden West, where there was like a couple shots in one of the trailers where Aloy looked a little chubby, and some people started freaking out about it. And they were like, well, what would she look like if she slathered a bunch of makeup on her face? I just think obsessing over this kind
of her, like, yet again, like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
Like, because it's so disrespectful to the original art, and not to mention, she's cute as fuck in the left picture. Like, I don't get what the fuck people's problems are with the way she looks.
Once again, it's just people want, like, once again, the extremes. People use the extremes to justify the norms, and that is when you get extremism, and that's when you get people basically just talking out of their ass. This is Aloy. This is an abomination.
Look like if she slathered a bunch of makeup on her face. I just think obsessing over this kind of stuff isn't healthy. If you're going to obsess over it, then do so in the gym. It's important to note that the problem with this whole debacle is not about Eve's design. The problem is quite simple. A game developer and thousands of internet users are bluntly describing Eve as an ideal woman, the only woman that men want to see. Also, labeling Eve as the only...
Incorrect.
Nobody is saying that, you dumb motherfuckers.
You're saying that.
Stop putting words in people's mouths.
Stop assuming.
There is not one ideal woman type.
No, there isn't.
That is not a thing.
No.
And the fact that you think that there is means that you have a problem. You need to go to therapy and seek help.
It means that you are the sexist. Congratulations. You just outed yourself as sexist.
You just literally claim that you believe that there is one ideal woman type. There's not.
Hate to break it to you.
And they're like, no, I'm saying that's what everyone else is. No, we're not. No, nobody's saying that. We're saying that she's hot.
I'm saying she's attractive.
And if you show me another lady, like, fucking, that doesn't look anything like her, like Ivy, I'm going to say she's fucking hot. If you show me another lady that doesn't look anything like her, like Bakugo's mom, I'm going to say she's fucking hot. Because there's no such thing as an ideal woman. There is no perfect. Everybody's unique.
Exactly.
What the fuck, man?
It's stupidity, dude. It's sheer unbridled
People
stupidity.
are allowed to be hot in different ways from other people.
Yes.
That's a thing.
Yes.
Only kind of woman men want to see is wrong on so many levels. Dudes will thirst over anything with a pair of tits. Despite having specific outlets for this content, it now needs to be injected into all media to cater solely to them. How is this any different from putting realistic body standards in video games to cater to a different crowd? It's not. What? Company make product because want money? Dove is challenging narrow beauty stereotypes within the games industry with a new campaign that promotes avatars that look like real women. Again, you have to remember that these companies are fucking massive and they're making these decisions because they think it's going to increase revenue. You've got Stellar Blade, which is like, hey, let's lean a little bit into sex appeal to sell the game. And then you've got let's portray women in a normal way to sell the product. And both of these things are fine, but you can't pretend
Both
you're
of these
better
things are
than the
pissing off
opposite.
people from all over the place.
Yes. Pissing it off because one's going too far one way, and the people who are way on this side are just like, that offends me. And then the other one's going this direction, and then everyone on this side is like, I'm pissed off about it. Once again, the fringe groups are the ones who are the loudest. Ignore them. They don't fucking matter. They don't speak for everybody.
No, we're just sitting here being
To
loud
side.
too because we're finally just sick of it.
Yeah. I've heard enough. And honestly, I feel my IQ slipping for every article that I read that has these exact same talking points, that doesn't add anything new to the fold, and is just going to regurgitate the same bullshit again and again and again and again and again until they eventually get hired by Kotaku. That's it.
The world would be a much better place if everybody would just shut the fuck up and play video games.
Exactly. You don't have to blast your bullshit online and just sit there and wait for validation.
Unless you're us, because it's our job.
Well, yeah, but we try to be as like I guess we try to add something else to it.
We're literally
not
doing the same thing that Kotaku and people are doing. It's just we're trying to be moderately more intelligent about it.
Well, yeah, we're trying to at least portray ourselves to be semi-competent
and somewhat reasonable.
Yes. But there's still going to be people who in the comments are just going to misrepresent us because that's exactly what they do every time. Mm-hmm. And people who misrepresent us...
Hello.
Hello. By the way, I see you down there. And if you're misrepresenting us, go fuck yourselves.
If your end goal is the same, money. Now, some people are only going to care about what Stellar Blade represents in their ongoing culture war, but at the end of the day, what matters most to folk like me is if the game is awesome or bad. Is Eve going to be a flat, lifeless husk? Or an interesting character who just so happens to be a baddie with a gyat that won't quit? In conclusion, Rule 34 has been around for about 20 years. People are going to sexualize your game and your characters even if you don't. Sex appeal in gaming isn't inherently a problem, but there are pretty clear ways of doing it right and doing it wrong. Instead of wasting our energy discussing things that will never change, maybe we should focus on the design and fun factor of the game, if it's visually appealing, or God forbid how women are treated in the actual workplace in the game industry. The recent controversy around Eve and Stellar Blade isn't a new phenomenon. I think it's ridiculous to criticize it for shallow reasons like the character is too hot, it made me feel bad. And it's equally absurd to criticize a protagonist that isn't hot enough. Is the design good or not? Does the character have a reason to look like this? Sure, there are some instances of objectification.
Like
and
the Fable
bad
thing, like you
sexual-
said, like with previous Fable games, you were able to customize your character, right?
Yes.
I honestly
100%.
feel like that character could have been someone who was on the team that is working on it and worked on the trailer, just using the character creator, and that's what they managed to come up with.
Mm-hmm.
They could have been making them look like themselves, which if that's the case, then I bet everybody who's talking like that is making somebody feel like a real piece of shit, which is kind of fucked up. Sorry, guys. Or she could be modeled and motion capped after a real person, and I bet you guys are making her feel like a complete piece of shit. That's kind of fucked up, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Or, it could have just been that they're not very good at using the character creator. I had to practice a lot to get to where I could actually make characters that looked like what I wanted them to with characters.
I was gonna say, like,
it's not easy.
The amount of ugly Commander Shepards there were especially the ones that I made.
Dude, and
for
everybody
my
knows,
playthroughs.
like,
Holy
if you're gonna
shit.
play Elder Scrolls or Fallout, your character's probably gonna look kind of whack. Like, because it's hard to make a good-looking character with their creators.
Yes.
Civilization in video games, but in my experience, these are pretty rare. Unrealistic characters can affect the average Joe or Jill's self-esteem, but at the end of the day, you have to learn how to be happy with your own image. Nobody can do that for you. Your self-esteem is not the responsibility of some multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Exactly.
Sex sells, and you can't fight that truth any more than you can fight gravity. That's the way it is. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Let me know who you think the sexiest video game character is in the comments below. All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Sexy Man signing out. Peace.
For me personally, I think it's Samus.
Samus?
Yeah.
I think Samus is awesome. I think Samus is damn cool, especially with the armor, and of course Zero Suit Samus is just drop dead gorgeous.
There's definitely like a cool factor to her that like makes me like her a lot more than most characters. But like Bayonetta's got kind of the same thing going on, but it's just I'm more like Samus is like, I guess personality wise, like she doesn't really have a personality except for in the one game that's not as good as the rest.
Other M.
But I mean, like Bayonetta's personality is not really my type, if that makes sense, you know.
Fair enough.
But I mean, she's still cool, like, and she's still hot.
Yeah. You want to know? There's actually one that I find very attractive, and you've told me that you don't find her very attractive. Rhea Ripley from the WWE. I mean, Jesus Christ. And here's the thing: I was a fan of hers before she was mommy. I was a fan of her all the way back in NXT.
She's the one in the clip you showed me with...
Motionless in White.
Yeah, actually, she looked pretty hot there.
Yeah.
So,
and
I mean, like, I just think I saw some other, like, pictures that were, like, slightly different style or something.
Yeah. Which, I heard she actually might be injured, and if she is, hey, hope you heal up well, Rhea.
That sucks.
Yeah. But, honestly, Rhea Ripley, I would also say... Damn. Also, Buddy Matthews, please don't hurt me, because I know y'all are getting married, which congratulations, but your fiance's hot, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. Anywho, also,
it reminded me of that old stoner commercial. Dude, your sister's hot. That's not cool.
Oh gosh!
I always used to tell Chance that because I thought his sister was hot.
And then there was
that's not cool.
Then there was Lita from, I don't know if you remember her from back in the day in WWE.
Strauss?
Huh? You're thinking of Trish Stratus.
No, I remember someone named Lita Strauss from somewhere, but I don't remember. I think actually she's a metal vocalist. Maybe that's where I know that name from.
Yeah. But Lita, let's see, when was it? Yeah, there she is. Lita in Lita in the 2000s all the way up to 2005 was just unbelievable.
I'm thinking of Nita Strauss.
Nita Strauss, yeah. Okay.
She's not a vocalist, she's a musician.
But Lita was awesome because in the ring she was like really talented, and she was also like just had a great personality and just looked amazing. Yeah, all about that.
She played for Alice Cooper when I saw him live.
Oh, really? Nice. But yeah, Lita was one that I liked a lot. Plus, her moveset was really cool. Plus, she teamed with one of my favorite tag teams, the Hardy Boys.
She is a pretty lady.
Yeah. But anyway. Then, of course, there was everyone's favorite back in the day, Trish Stratus. There she is. 2000 and... Yeah, let's just do 2000. She was everyone's favorite, and she was like the... Originally, she was just like eye candy. Then she actually became a really good wrestler. She actually like trained up in wrestling and became a really good wrestler. But then she retired at 30. she basically just called it a career at 30. It's like, damn. Right when she was actually starting to get up there in, like, the echelons of, like, good wrestlers. But anyway, yeah, so that was the Act Man with our video game characters too sexy? I mean, what do y'all think? We mouthed off quite a bit during this, as in more than an hour. We're actually sitting at an hour and 14 minutes.
I'm just waiting to hear this crowd of people who say this kind of shit try and jump and move it over to real life at some point and literally start trashing on people that they consider to be too sexy and just be like, people need to stop putting in so much effort because it makes the rest of us who don't want to put in the effort feel bad about it.
Are you serious? Dude, they already do that. They did that to Adele.
Really?
Yeah, Adele worked on herself and, like, got in good shape and everything, and she posted a picture of herself, like, in a bikini top and everything, and everyone was just like you're so horrible for actually getting in shape. I can't believe you would actually do that. Like, you were such an inspiration to plus size women and this and that. I can't believe you would actually change yourself for that. Yeah.
The fact that you all don't take that as inspiration to also better yourselves further proves that you need to go to therapy and you have a problem.
Yeah, same thing with Rebel Wilson. Rebel Wilson lost a bunch of weight. And honestly,
people can't help but tear other people down because they feel like shit about themselves.
Exactly.
It's the only way they can make themselves feel okay about themselves.
Yep.
That is exactly what it boils down to.
Anyway, we got to move on from here, everybody. That's going to do it. This was the Act Man with our video game characters too sexy. Feel free to let us know in the comment section down below. And until next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
See you later, everybody. Peace.